What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Auto 101. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another car review. Today we're taking a look at this right behind me, a Honda Odyssey, particularly a Honda Odyssey Sport. Now, I really enjoy minivans. There's not really any left. I know I say that in all my videos, but truly there's only 4 main players left. But with such little competition, you'd expect everything is perfect about this Odyssey. But I've been driving it around for the last few days, and I think there's actually a few things that I like and a few things that I don't like. So let's get into it. This current generation Honda Odyssey has actually been out for a long time now. This came out all the way back in 2018, so it's definitely the old man on the block. It's a little bit long in the tooth, but it still holds up pretty well. And driving this around for the last few days, like I mentioned earlier, there's 5 things that I've really enjoyed about this car and 5 things that I think are starting to show its age and the competition does a little bit better. So let's start off with the 5 things that I really enjoy. And while we're outside, why don't we start talking about the styling? And I think this car actually looks really good. A lot of the competition has moved away from the look of a traditional minivan. They're trying to make them a little bit more imposing, give them a little bit more street presence to compete with the popularity of the large SUVs. But Honda has stuck true to the styling of a minivan. It's a very cab forward design, low hood line, whereas other manufacturers and competitors are elevating the hood line and giving it more of a boxy look. But I think Honda sticking true with the minivan design has paid off, because even though this car is now almost 7 years old, it still looks fresh, it still looks modern, and in many ways it actually looks futuristic, particularly in this sport trim with all the black accents in the back, the black wheels. I think it looks fantastic. I know this little kink in the window has been a Honda signature in the Odyssey for a while now. At first I didn't really like it, but I think it's actually been holding up quite well as a design or styling element. And my favorite part of the Odyssey is the front end, because it actually has a little bit of aggression. And I'm not gonna lie to you, walking up to this car or walking away from this car after locking it, I have turned my head a couple of times, because I think it just looks fantastic with this black package and this kind of flat gray paint that's so popular these days. I think another major strong point of the Odyssey is the driving experience. It's something Honda has always excelled in, and even though this is a minivan, the Honda-ness can really be felt in the way that this Odyssey drives. There's a good weight to the steering wheel. It feels like it has some feedback coming back towards you. And even though it's literally just a box on wheels, it feels somewhat planted. Obviously, it's not a sports car, but as far as minivans and practical vehicles go, I would say this is a cut above the rest when it comes to driving experience. And you could kind of tell that it's a car-based, low-riding vehicle when it comes to the way that it drives. And a big part that aids in that overall driving experience is actually the engine. And I've really enjoyed driving and piloting this engine for the last few days. This is Honda's venerable J35 engine. Okay, this is an engine that Honda has had for many years now. It's a 3.5 liter V6, delivers great, smooth, consistent power, great power band, and you know that the engine and the power is always available to dip into whenever you want to. So passing maneuvers, going off the line, all that stuff is really well executed in the Odyssey, and that combined with the dynamic driving experience really makes this one of the more performance-oriented or enthusiast-oriented options in the 7-passenger minivan / crossover SUV space, and I've really enjoyed that. And I know minivans are supposed to do a really good job when it comes to practicality and interior seat flexibility, but I think the Odyssey is actually one of the best options in the segment. The Pacifica / Voyager / Grand Caravan, depending on where you are, is obviously known for its practicality, but the Pacifica has what's called magic seats. And you can see that I've loaded up with a bunch of stuff from IKEA, and it's able to carry all of that stuff really well, because the seats, even though they don't fold all the way flat, they kind of come forward and tumble over, and you can do that with all 3 of these seats. So it really helps in terms of moving around the interior seats. You don't have to take them out like you have to do in some of the competition. And the back seats actually fold directly flat into the ground. And these front seats here, or the second row, not only do they move front and back, but they also move side to side. So there really is a lot of configurability in the rear seat and third row of the Honda Odyssey. I think the Pacifica and Voyager is still a little bit better with its stow and go. but that's not available on all trims of the Pacifica. The plug-in hybrid doesn't really come with those stow-and-go seats. So for a consistent practical experience, I really think Honda has done a great job with the Odyssey with the seat configurability. All right, let's head inside and talk about a few of the things that I've enjoyed with the interior of the Honda Odyssey. And right away, upon entry into the cabin, the material quality of every single touch point and really every single panel in here is quite impressive. In this sport trim, every single thing that I've touched, I've been impressed with from a quality perspective. All the paneling here is soft. The padding on the top of the dashboard is soft. The leather on the steering wheel is amazing. Likewise, this has the perfect amount of padding for resting your elbows, or you could rest your elbows down here and there's even better padding. There's really nice armrests for the driver and passenger, as there are in the back seat as well. Honda has really done and excelled in offering a very high quality cabin from a materials perspective. And I think it's actually one of the standouts in the minivan class. Surprisingly, the minivan class in general has really good interior material quality, but I still think the Odyssey is at the top or near the top of the class when it comes to the quality of the materials inside. And very similarly, but slightly differently, the second thing that I've really enjoyed about the interior of the Honda Odyssey is the amount of physical buttons and the tactility of the physical buttons. And what I mean by the tactility is all of these buttons have a really nice damping to them. There's really good feedback coming through. They're physical buttons, so obviously there's really good feedback, but they don't feel cheap or chintzy in any way. I particularly enjoy these buttons right here. And I really, really like that there's a very easy to access on-off button for the auto start stop. A lot of manufacturers get that wrong, and Honda putting it right here front and center right beside this, amazing. Likewise, the climate is all physical. This is easy to adjust. The fan speed is easy to adjust. Modes are easy to adjust. People and manufacturers have been moving away from this, and I think climate is one thing that should not be on the screen, because you want to adjust climate in situations where sometimes you don't want to touch a screen. Like if you're wearing gloves, the touchscreen is not going to register the glove. So physical buttons are still superior when it comes to climate, 100%. Like with many things in life, not everything is perfect though with the Honda Odyssey. There are a few things that I think could be better, and a lot of them are because of the fact that this is just an older platform, an older car. And the result of that oldness of the platform is the lack of options really in terms of drivetrain and powertrain. So drivetrain wise, there is no all-wheel drive on the Honda Odyssey. It's not an option. It's not available at all. The Sienna comes with all-wheel drive as an option, and the Chrysler Pacifica Voyager Grand Caravan comes with all-wheel drive as an option should one want that. The Carnival doesn't, so at least it's not alone in that. But the Odyssey doesn't offer it at all. And all-wheel drive really is an advantage in certain climates. It's not necessary, but it's always nice to have. And with the competition offering it, but the Odyssey not, I think that's something that Honda could work on. And maybe they likely are with the next generation. Let's stay tuned and find out. But similarly to the all-wheel drive and the drivetrain option, another big Achilles heel of the Odyssey, and a massive one really, is no hybrid. There is no hybrid version available of the Honda Odyssey at all. I talked about the J35 V6, and that is a great engine. Really delivers power well, but it's not the most efficient engine. It's not inefficient as far as V6s go in minivans. It's right up there with the V6 that you'd find in the Pacifica or the V6 that you'd find in the Carnival, but it's not, there's no efficient option available for the Odyssey. For reference, the Sienna in its current generation only comes in hybrid form. The Pacifica offers a plug-in hybrid for someone who wants that flexibility, and the Carnival also comes with a hybrid option. So if anybody wants a more efficient minivan and fuel economy is a priority, the other competition offers something that would appeal to that. The Odyssey does not, and that, I would say, is the biggest and largest weakness right now of this generation Honda Odyssey. And just while we're here, whilst this isn't the biggest thing, the J35, despite being a very reliable method of delivering power and it's easy to access that power, the engine, at least with my time with this particular Odyssey, felt a little bit coarse, a little bit rough, and a little bit loud, and that wasn't something that I was expecting from such a well-known Honda engine. But it was like just a little bit coarse. And I don't know if that was just isolated to me. I'd love to hear your comments, drop them down below, but that was something I noticed with this Honda Odyssey. I said a lot of good things about the interior before, but not everything with the interior is up to the standards one would expect in 2025, primarily around the infotainment and touchscreen system that's in the Odyssey. This is not a very large system. And that's not always necessarily a bad thing, but I think in this case, it's not a great thing. Because again, the competition offers bigger, larger screens. And I know a lot of enthusiasts will come on and say, I don't want a big screen. I don't see the value in a big screen. And I agree to a certain extent. In an enthusiast vehicle, in a performance car, a big screen isn't the priority. In a minivan, I think there is a tangible advantage to having a big screen. A lot of people who are passengers in the car want to see what's going on for navigation. They want to know what's playing. And a big screen with a nice, beautiful display really elevates the overall cabin from a passenger experience perspective and a driver experience perspective too. And lastly, whilst the Odyssey isn't priced egregiously as far as minivans go, it is on the higher end of the competitors that it currently faces. And I think that's not great because, like I mentioned, there's a lot less flexibility and a lot less options with this Odyssey, with the all-wheel drive, with the hybrid. So being at the upper end of the pricing spectrum as far as minivans go, I think is something that probably works against the Odyssey. I'd love to hear what you think. The pricing is not crazy different. And in general, I think minivans are expensive now compared to what they used to be 10, 15 years ago. But it's a limited commodity now. There's not that many left. So maybe pricing will just keep on going up and up. That's my conclusion on the Honda Odyssey overall. I think it's not a minivan for everybody because there's other minivans that do a lot more of what a buyer expects in 2025. But if you're looking for a minivan that rewards a enthusiastic driving feel, a responsive performance-y engine, then I think this is the one to go for. High quality materials. It really feels well put together. If you want a hybrid, if you want all-wheel drive, or if you want something that's on the more affordable side, I think there are other options in the class to take a look at. But the Honda is a really well-packaged all-rounder. And it's a Honda. It's a little bit of a little sports car. Sports van. That's what it is. It's the sports van. If you're looking for a sports van, not a minivan, go for the Honda Odyssey.